Of all the pregame strategies the Texas A&M could have gone with to prepare for the Miami Hurricanes, they chose to piss off Rueben Bain.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hurricane Bain is the wrong guy to call out because that dude, he keeps receipts. He's got that maniacal serial killer style notebook of his. He's going to be out for blood on December 20th. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC, and host of Postgame on the Hurricanes Radio Network. Thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available everywhere you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're part of the #1 Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. On this loaded episode, we'll talk about the continued fallout of the little temper tantrum that Notre Dame is throwing. There's a lot of rumors that they're really going to take out their rage now on the ACC. Think the anger's misdirected. Also, the special treatment that Notre Dame is going to get in the playoff moving forward. Portal quarterback is a huge topic, and the guy that I love and that the truth teller loves is apparently hitting the portal. We'll see what Miami does. We'll talk about matchups against Texas A&M. We'll talk about Texas A&M's left tackle going out of his way to poke the bear that is Rueben Bain. And it is a Tuesday, folks.
Yep.
And the man is here, the truth teller. All right, so truth teller, we got ACC Defensive Player of the Year, top graded edge rusher on Pro Football Focus, Ruben Bane he's got extra motivation leading up to this matchup.
Yeah, we just talked off the air, and as I said, this reminds me so much of 1991 in the Cotton Bowl, because as everybody knows, that Mark Caesar's my friend. He called me up all week long, every day, 3 times a day. He still calls me 3 times a day. But he told me the story about Stan Thomas, the offensive tackle from Texas, who was pretty good, calling out Russell Maryland. Said he didn't deserve to win the Outland Trophy. Well, yeah, so it's similar in the fact that he individualized his venom at Russell. But what it did, it pissed off the whole team. Yes. They all were like that. They were all, because Russell was their leader. He was a quiet leader. And for the rest of the week after that happened, they were furious. And you could see in the game, not only did Russell have a big game, Caesar had 2 sacks. The late Shane Curry was all over the field. They were everywhere in that game. They just destroyed their quarterback at Texas. And it filtered through the entire team. And not that we should have any extra motivation for this, but I think now they're going to come out at that Texas field with smoke coming out of their nose. They are going to be like bulls in a ring. I'm telling you now, it doesn't mean they're going to win, but they will be furious because of what this kid's. And I'll bet you Elko's told this kid, you better shut your mouth the rest of the week, because this is a bad dude. You're so stupid. It's amazing to hear this kid so stupid to do that.
Yes, this is and it's a really good player. Texas A&M starting left tackle Trey Zuhn. And he was asked, this was on Sunday, I guess right after the matchup was announced. Right. And it's not just what he said, by the way, it's the little smirk on his face the whole time. So he was asked about Ruben Bane, and here was what Trey Zuhn III had to say about going up against Ruben Hurricane Bane.
I haven't had the time to watch any film yet since it just got announced, but, I don't think he'll be a threat that we need to worry about too much. We know we have great players. We got a great offensive line, so we'll be able to handle him.
I'm looking forward to when Zuhn does sit down and watch the film. He's going to wish he didn't say what he said.
Yeah. And as I said off the air, Bane on the outs, I think it's not going to happen, because we talked about it the other night with Gary and Canesport about putting Bane in the middle on certain plays. Get him in the inside. It's just where you can't scheme up for him, because they're not going to expect that. And maybe that will happen. Maybe Jason and Damian will make that switch on a couple of plays so he can get in the backfield and cause more problems. If he comes off the edge, they know how to the tackle, and they get a running back to chip him. He's been stuck in traffic a lot. They got to free him up. So I'm looking forward to this. I know you're talking about matchups, but the fact that this kid opened his big mouth to me is a big deal. It might not seem a big deal to others, but to me, this team who plays well with emotion, they've been somewhat lackluster in the games they weren't that fired up. They're going to be fired up for this game because remember in the Cotton Bowl, the first play of the game, Robert Bailey, another good friend of mine, Bailey said, I'm gonna knock the kick returner out. And on the first play of the game, he knocked them out. They knocked him out. He was laying on the ground. He got up and then he collapsed to the ground again. First play, you saw they had 200 and something yards in penalties. That's because they were just so damn angry. They didn't care what the refs did. They just wanted to punish Texas, and they did.
And that's certainly going to be the type of energy that Rueben Bain and Akeem Mesidor and Armando Blunt and Marquise Lightfoot and all the guys in the interior as well.
They need
Moten,
that.
David Blay, we expect to be healthy for this game. They're going to have that sort of energy. And it's like, okay, on the matchups, Bruce, this is the type of game that Mario Cristobal has built this roster for. Like, I'm not guaranteeing we win the game, but these are the types of matchups. Like, Mario Cristobal has built his roster from the inside out in order to thrive in matchups like this. Strength on the line of scrimmage, Bruce. Miami has the top graded defensive line in the country. Texas A&M, very good at protecting their quarterback. They've only given up 12 sacks all year. Miami only gave up 11. So these are two of the best offensive lines, two of the best defensive lines. The Aggies have a player, Cassius Howell, who has 11 and a half sacks on the season. So both of these D-lines and O-lines have been incredibly successful, Bruce. And so these are going to be matchups that are going to help decide this football game. The quarterback matchup, I've been talking about this all week. Marcel Reed is more mobile. Carson Beck has been sharper through the air for most of the season. Good wide receivers on both sides. And I do think, if Marcel Reed has time to throw, and hopefully Bain has something to say about that, they've got a couple of really dangerous receivers, Mario Craven and Casey Concepcion. But Miami's got really dangerous receivers, right? I mean, as good as Casey Concepcion is, we think Malachi Toney is even better. Similar players, we think Malachi is even more dynamic. CJ Daniels is going to be fully healthy now. Keelan Marion, I don't know if you saw the video Keelan put out of his live, or somebody put it out with his live reaction. He's like, lace up the boots. He was going crazy how excited he was.
He's turned out to be very good. But I want to give you the name of somebody who I think is probably going to be the difference maker, because he was all season, Keontae Scott. Because when you say 11 sacks for their quarterback, he has great escapability. Now, he hurt himself. He hurt his leg about a month or so ago, and he was hobbled around a little bit, and they lost to Texas. But if Keontae could get in the backfield like he has all season, and this guy doesn't escape, and he's not running, that really, really limits what Texas A&M can do offensively, because he makes plays kind of like Cam last year. He breaks out of the pocket, and he makes plays on the run. He's that good, but he's also inconsistent as a passer. But I think Keontae is the key. Yeah, Bain and the D lineman, but I think Keontae is a big, big difference maker, because we haven't been in the backfield as much since he got hurt.
Well, and another thing, for Miami's offense, again, Texas A&M's defense is overall very good, but they've looked lately soft against the run. So I'm like, for example, Texas, not the best of running teams. They gave up 218 rushing yards to Texas, which is like really significant, right? And now, obviously, Miami has discovered what Girard Pringle can do. Mark Fletcher is fully healthy again. You've got Marty Brown. Like, I think Miami's 1-2-3 punch behind that offensive line. I know Miami consistently wasn't always great throughout the year at running the football, but when they're on, they're on. And I think Texas A&M's running defenses looked vulnerable, Bruce. So if we can get that running game going, you can negate that pass rush of theirs a little bit if we're not in a bunch of 3rd and longs and Beck isn't having to scramble for his life.
But the difference in the running game is when Miami started to open it up in the last 4 games, it opened up the running. In other words, throw to set up the run instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
So that change by Dawson is a big deal. That's a big deal. I have a gut feeling they're going to try to blanket Malachi's trick plays and things like that. he may be a decoy for part of the game. It could very well be. It's not like we have to throw to him. We have enough receivers and backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield in the flat to choke a horse. So, and I think we have a lot of talent. And I think we're a team that was supposed to be the best team in the country. Early in the year, we turned it around. We may still be one of the best teams in the country, not necessarily ranked number 10 because of what these idiots did on the committee.
By the way, when we come back, I'll tell you, and we're going to talk about the committee a little bit later on, because I want to get Bruce's reaction. We haven't had Bruce on the show since Miami got in. Also want to explain why Miami fans were a little upset about the ticketing situation for Texas A&M. And we have to talk about portal quarterbacks, because the guy that Bruce and I both really, really like is going to be available. You want to keep it locked right here. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Guys, the holidays come with two big goals: feeding people well and finding gifts they'll actually love. And when you want both handled in one move, Omaha Steaks is the way to go. From hosting to gifting, they deliver the world's best steak experience right to your door. Because during their Sizzle All the Way sale, you could stock up and save in a huge way. 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. And it gets even better. Locked On Canes listeners get an extra $35 off with code COLLEGE at checkout. I've sent Omaha Steaks as gifts before, and the reaction is always the same. This is the best gift ever, they tell me. I love how easy it is to gift. Shows up frozen, it's packed beautifully, and it's ready to cook. Steaks are perfectly aged and insanely tender. It's a restaurant level at home, guys. Save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code COLLEGE at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE. Thank you so much, folks, for making Locked On Canes your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. And if you're a true diehard Miami Hurricanes fan, the Everydayer All Access tier is built for you. You'll get one-on-one text access with me, all access episodes, an exclusive newsletter, and 15% discount on the new Locked On merch store. Head to lockedoncanes.supercast.com to join the Everydayer Club and unlock all access. You can also find the link in the show description below. Got the Truth Teller with us here on a Truth Teller Tuesday.
Hey, I want to just say one quick thing. I've gotten a lot of comments from guys. I gave out my number from my law practice, which we didn't do the other day. But I'm getting a lot of really positive comments. I want to thank everybody for that. It's really nice. I appreciate all that.
We'll throw the number again out at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end. But we had, 31,000 views the other day when we did that show Saturday?
Yeah.
31,000. You guys are great, man. We appreciate you. This is really good. It makes me feel good, too. And as I said to Alex before, I just feel great that he has these kinds of numbers, and it just shows that he does a great show. And I'm a part of it. That's all I am.
You're a huge part of it.
That puzzle. Well, you say that. I agree, but
so we both agree.
All right. So it's all about you, not you. It's about you. I just love doing the show with you. I'm very happy for your success.
Well, okay. Speaking of things that make you feel good, you and I obviously we talked off the air, but the last time we spoke on the show was Saturday night, where we were talking then about why Miami should be selected, and they were ultimately selected for the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. So the Everydayers, they haven't heard what the Bruce Warner reaction was. Like when you saw Miami show up on that field at number 10, like what was going through your mind, Bruce? How did you react to that?
I was happy. I mean, how could you not be? Look at what we've been talking about for years. It's been 24 years since we were really good. 23. We were good when we lost to Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl, and we got robbed. But it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. And in the 4 years doing this since Mario got, I'm wearing this shirt. I'm all in on Mario Cristobal. It was
awesome.
One of the first shirts that you could get. And in the back it says, lock up, whatever it was, the state of Miami, whatever Howard called. So, and I've been on board. Yeah, I've had my criticisms of him, and I think I was right. But I'm proud. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. We didn't win the ACC, but we got into the playoff, which doesn't happen that often. But I'm just very happy, and I'm very relieved because it's been a lot of years with all the false promises and the blown football games like the Georgia Tech game. So I'm very happy. Now it's like, okay, do we just rest on our laurels? No,
Right.
That's not me. No. It's not you.
No.
I know it's not Mario, but we got to go out into that game next Saturday and just play like we can play. Play loose, play relaxed, and play in their face and just shut them up, because that kid had a big mouth and he shouldn't have said that. And I'm not worried about Ohio State after that, or maybe Georgia after that. One at a time. Just take care of business.
Yeah, you know what? You're so right. I guess because we cover Mario Cristobal for 4 years, like we just sort of by osmosis, we've kind of adopted that mentality, because I talk to a lot of Miami fans and they're already like, oh, well, I can't wait till, a rematch with Ohio State. And I'm like, dude, let's talk about Texas A&M. Let's talk about the Aggies.
Shut up already. Let them play the one game.
Yeah. I'm at a one game at a time, 1-0 this week type of mentality. Yeah. So this is not surprising, Bruce, because this has been speculated on for a few weeks, but it was reported last night. Sources say that Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt is going to enter the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. And Bruce, that can't be official until January 2nd, but when that day comes, there is going to be a feeding frenzy. Like I don't know for sure which other quarterbacks are going to enter the portal, but it's hard for me to imagine that many guys better than Levitt are going to, like I say, really, really good player. Like he only played a partial season this year because of a foot injury. He had a Liz Frank injury. But
that's
season,
exactly what Fletcher had, and that's not an easy thing to come back from.
It's not, and we'll get to that in a second. So in the partial season he played this year, 1,600 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, also 306 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. I love how Levitt's a dual threat. Last year, he played a full season and got into the playoffs. He had 443 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns, 2,900 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year. Like this is a bona fide stud, Sam Levitt. Now, I know, again, anytime we talk about possible Miami transfers, it's very polarizing because people are like, well, why do you recruit guys out of high school if you go to the portal every year? I think you and I are in agreement that we both really like Darion Coleman and Luke Nickel, but they're both so young that I think you could go into the portal again and still give those young men an opportunity the following year. And that's
probably because everybody expects Levitt, even though he's got 2 years to go, they expect him to play next year and then be done. And that's why Nickel and Coleman are still in play to be the quarterback the year after next.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think the thinking is, because Mario does not want to let any particular year slip by. He needs a quality quarterback every year, and these guys aren't ready. That Coleman's not even in the school yet.
Yeah, so he's not even in college.
You're talking out of your rear end when you say Coleman should start next year. For what? No.
Yeah, no. So for me, the question is, it's up for Miami to evaluate. Do they think any of these transfer quarterbacks give them a better chance to win than Emory Williams or, Judd Anderson or either of these young guys? And if the answer to that question is yes, I think you go in. Now, in the case of Levitt, listen, obviously Miami has really done well with portal quarterbacks the last couple of years. They had to beat out a lot of other teams for Cam Ward. They had to beat out a lot of other teams for Carson Beck. And upon further review, the Beck thing has worked out pretty well. So I know a lot of people had mixed opinions on that, but it's worked out very well. But again, if you go for Levitt, I would assume big programs. I've seen people try to link LSU and Lane Kiffin to Sam Levitt. So you're going to be competing with the big boys. But I think the juice is worth the squeeze on this one if you can get him here. Now, let me ask you a follow-up, Bruce, because you mentioned, hey, the Liz Frank, it can be a tricky injury to come back from. Obviously, you would have your doctors examine him, and you don't pull the trigger unless – the same thing with Carson Beck, was coming off the elbow surgery. You didn't pull the trigger on that transfer until you were sure he was going to be back. You do your due diligence. I've had Miami fans text me saying, hey, would you really want to go for a guy like Sam Levitt because he would probably have to miss spring football? And my answer was, hey, that worked out okay with Carson Beck. I think it can work out okay with Levitt too.
My answer to that is, you made a comment about Miami has to do their homework. They already know. I'm telling you, they know about Sam Levitt, and they're ready to go all in on him. Yes, of course, there's a condition precedent, which is they got to check him out physically. But they checked out Beck, and they knew he was going to be fine. At the time, he wasn't, but they knew. I think they know about this kid already. I know they're not talking to his doctors or the doctors at Arizona State, but they will be able to check that out. But I believe he's probably at the top of their list anyhow. Yeah. And they already know what he can do, and he knows he fits into this system. So I'm not worried about it. They will be right there at the top with the bag ready to go come January 2nd. I'm not worried about the other quarterbacks, but they have to do their due diligence, Yeah. They apparently didn't want the Indiana quarterback. Look what happened to him. He was at Cal last year, and now he's great. He's going to win the Heisman probably.
Yeah, he is.
So, but I think Miami's in the market for that quarterback. The rest of the positions, I don't really know. They got 4 wide receivers coming in that are 4 stars and 1 5-star. They have who they have coming back. I don't even know if they're going to go to the portal there. Probably a safety.
I think a defensive tackle probably
a D tackle. Yeah. But I don't think they need 10 or 12. I think they really can now pick and choose. You got something on here about the Notre Dame tantrum. We're going to do that now or
we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, let me say, and again, with the evolving situation with portal quarterbacks, I would personally make Sam Levitt the top target. There's also reports that Cincinnati's Brendan Sorsby I like him a lot. I don't know how much Cincinnati football people out there have watched, but he's another, really talented dual threat quarterback. Sorsby to me, I put him, somewhere behind Levitt, but I really like him a lot. Drew Mestamaker from North Texas. I haven't watched him as much, but I know that's a hot name. That's, probably be entering the transfer portal. Again, we've already had conversations, you and me, Bruce, about Lenora Sellers, super talented, but, obviously there's concerns about the decision-making. I don't know if Miami thinks they can coach that out of him. CJ Bailey, I don't know if CJ Bailey's going to transfer. We have no evidence whatsoever. I think he still really values, NC State believing in him when he was coming out of high school.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do. Yeah. I think he's raw. I don't think he's that good. He's got,
and also I don't think he's leaving. I think his coach is staying. The coach, we all thought Dave Doran was going to either leave or get pushed out, but Doran is staying. That's the guy who recruited him. So I don't think he's going to leave.
You know what else is important? And I think we're just looking at who we want. I know that the staff, I know Mario and the staff is looking at which of these kids would fit into the system, A, and B, could withstand the pressure of playing Miami football. That's something that you got to factor in. Beck had that it factor. Cam had the it factor. I think Sam Levitt has that it factor. They waited. Yeah. They made it to the playoffs last year.
He's a gamer.
Right. So that's what I think they need to find. They can't find anybody that's going to buckle under the pressure of playing at Miami. So that's another thing. You could throw out all these names and the stats, but you got to find somebody that really says, I want the challenge. I'm going to Miami. And I hope that's Levitt because the kid's good.
When we come back, I think the truth teller is going to have some words for the crying Irish. You want to keep it locked right here. We're not done yet on this brand new Locked On Canes. A little something called the World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams for the first time ever, it's going to be massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part. That's why the Game Time app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. And also, I would recommend, if you're a Miami fan looking for tickets to the Texas A&M game, be monitoring Game Time the closer we get to the game, because I think Game Time is going to be your best chance to get into that stadium. Trust me on that. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets, college football playoff tickets, every match, every concert, every event with Game Time. I love how the prices include fees up front. No last-second surprises at checkout. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. So download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Bruce, before we get to the crying Irish, I remember I teased something about tickets for this game. So this is what home field advantage is all about, okay? So Texas A&M Stadium, Kyle Field, which holds just under 103,000 people, is only releasing 3,000 tickets to Miami season ticket holders. And listen, I'm not faulting them for it. If you're legally allowed to only give up that many, and you get your great home field advantage in the playoffs, that's the situation. Miami fans have been calling the Miami ticket office. They're only releasing 3,000. So that means 100,000 tickets go theoretically to their fans, although you can buy them at places like Game Time, which
Does
I
it really
recommend
matter,
people do.
Alex? If they gave us 5,000 or 6,000, we're going to be so outnumbered. It doesn't matter. It's they're a loud stadium. They're right on top of the field.
Yeah.
And so that we got to block that out. And that's why the beginning of this game is so important. We can't let them come out on fire, be up 14-0, because then we're going to do all kinds of stupid things. So the key to this game is to get out fast and be out, just like we did against Texas in the Cotton Bowl in 1991. We've got to come out fast. All right, what do you want me to talk about now?
Okay, so first, so Notre Dame, and by the way, at the time we're having this conversation, this is like right before they're having a news conference today at noon, and everyone is speculating that Notre Dame is going to either announce that they're going to be leaving the ACC.
Good.
They're not a full member in football, as we all know. They're a member in all the other sports, but they're going to leave the ACC, or they might even sue the ACC for some disparagement clause that nobody knows is actually in their contract or not. It's a lot of speculation going on. But what it boils down to is Notre Dame, Bruce, is very angry that the ACC had the audacity to promote the fact that their full member and football member Miami beat Notre Dame in a football game. The ACC had the audacity to promote the final score of that game to try and help member Miami get into the college football playoff. The ACC is livid at that. They're livid that the social media channels of the ACC, how dare they promote the fact that we lost a game to a real member of their conference. They're mad that ACC Network ran a marathon of that Miami win over Notre Dame, which, by the way, I found out that wasn't actually the ACC's decision. That wasn't the ACC's decision to air that. ESPN does the programming schedule, not the ACC for ACC Network. So, Bruce, at the end of the day, if Notre Dame, if they get into the college football playoff, they don't have to share any of that revenue with the ACC because they're not a football member, where the ACC gets a share of Miami's playoff revenue.
Yep.
So, it makes all the sense in the world. You promote your football member over your non-football member, and Notre Dame is livid about that.
I don't care about them. You know what? They're spoiled brats. They're above everybody. That's what they think. And it's, you know what? It's turning out to be true, because next year, if they finish in the top 12, they can't be jumped. They're automatically in the playoffs, which is disgusting and despicable. The next thing is disgusting and despicable. I'm going to be on a rant now. Is Alabama. How the hell do you get blown out by Georgia in the SEC title game and don't go back? Had they put Miami at 9 and Alabama at 10, I could see that. That I could see. But to me, it sounds as if they told Alabama before the game, if you get blown out, don't worry about it. You're still going to be in the playoff. That's what it seemed like to me. So Alabama gets favoritism. Notre Dame is going to get it starting next year. And the rest of these teams, they're suffering because of it. It's not fair. These are kids playing ball. And Notre Dame with this nonsense, next year they're going to be an automatic bid if they finish. We had to finish in the top 10. Now all of a sudden they can finish in the top 12. Who the hell do they think they are? But they're getting away with it.
Exactly.
Really
here's their logic for wanting that. So like you said, so Notre Dame from next year on, if they're number 11 or number 12, they cannot be left out. They get an auto bid, and they would push whoever number 10 is, they would push them out for an at-large spot. So Notre Dame's argument would be, well, we need this because we don't have the benefit of being able to win a conference and getting an auto bid. Hello, it's
Whose
your
fault is
choice
that?
not to be in a conference.
Yeah.
Join
right.
a conference then. That's your choice to be independent. That's your choice.
Right, because they keep all the revenue. But that thing by that committee was just horrible. It just played right into their hands. But they should be mad at Alabama and the SEC,
They should be.
not the ACC.
Yeah.
How the hell does this team get blown out, killed, and they don't even go back one spot? Meanwhile, BYU got blown out by Texas Tech in the title game, and they moved out of the playoffs completely. What's the difference? Alabama, Notre Dame, you're talking about royalty, which is what I said a week ago. These royalty teams are going to be in. I'm surprised Texas didn't get in. It's just unbelievable what goes on. And I don't really see these nationals guys, Stephen A. Smith and this guy and that guy making a big stink of this. It is a big deal. Who do these teams think they are? But they're getting away with it.
They are. 100%.
Alabama's got 3 losses. You know what's going to happen? They're going to beat Oklahoma because Oklahoma's not that good.
They're not good.
They're not that good.
They got no offense.
Right. And I think they may make it to the finals, Bama, because of all this. I don't know if they are, but they didn't look too good at all against Georgia. They didn't look good at all.
No, they didn't.
And the only thing that I keep thinking is maybe they were told in advance, don't worry about it. You lose, you're still going to be in it. Do I think that's possible? Hell yeah, I think it's possible. This whole damn thing is rigged. It's fixed. It's disgusting. And we had to put up with this nonsense for 3 weeks. And all of a sudden, then Miami jumps Notre Dame because they were next to each other. Come on. Either they're better than them or they're not better than them. And these idiots that come out from the committee and say, well, we think that Notre Dame is better than Miami, even though Miami beat them. Based on what? We just blew 4 teams out at the end of the season. If there was any team that's on the rise, it was us, not Notre Dame. Why they beat? Who did they beat? They beat Syracuse 70-7. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's just disgusting. It disgusts me. It really does. So all I'm hoping right now is that with all these national people and you and me and everybody else doing these shows, pulling for Miami to make it, I hope we don't embarrass ourselves against A&M because they're all going to say, well, Miami's not back. They stink. I think we need to win this game. I think we need to win this game badly to shut a lot of people up. If we don't go all the way to the finals, to get into the playoffs, to win the first round game, that's a hell of an accomplishment. When you look back 4 years ago when we had Manny Diaz here, oh, my God. The roster's night and day. Night and day.
Yeah. Night and day.
So now I'm venting, but this just 4 weeks we had to sit around and wait for this to happen.
Yeah, it took years off my life, all that suspense. By the way, we get Bruce off the vent for a second because you've been really helping some of our listeners out, Bruce. Because again, there's a lot of gentlemen out there, and maybe some women as well, who are having custody battles here on the holiday season. This is really when you want to be able to spend time with your kids. And Bruce, you've been helping people out.
I've been trying to help you. Yeah, I'm doing this 42 years already. And if you have any issues seeing your kids, especially those who have kids out of wedlock, and the moms are not letting you see you have rights in this state. In fact, under the law, you have there's a presumption of 50-50, not whenever she says it's okay, not how about you could take 2 hours on Saturday. No, you have a right to 50-50 time sharing. Now, and she has the obligation to prove why you shouldn't have it. But the statute starts out with there's a presumption of 50-50. So if you're having problems seeing your kids, if you're having problems with, even if you have an agreement, she's not keeping up her end of the bargain, we'll file a motion for contempt and we'll get you the kids. So you can reach me at Talking Divorce. That's one word, talkingdivorce@aol.com. That's my email. Or you can call me because people are calling me and texting me, 954-258-2525, 954-258-2525. It's an easy number. That's the number we got for my son because, you guys know he was special needs and he passed away. He couldn't remember the number. So we got the easiest number we could get, 954-258-2525. Yeah, I don't mind talking football with you guys, but I'm just putting that out there to try to help a bunch of you people. So give me a call if you need any help. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Well, God bless you. And I know, man, everyone, I hope we all have a great holiday season with family and friends and college football playoff coming up.
Yeah.
Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to Locked On Canes. Make sure you check out the new Everydayers Club All Access. I've been really excited to put that platform out there. We'll talk to everyone next time. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 podcast network.
Yeah.
We bring you your team every day.